across teams to manage data and models. And we have our humble trainer here with us today, Mr. Marvin Uyo. Mr. Marvin Uyo is a cybersecurity and IT governance, risk and compliance GRC professional working at the intersect of technology governance, cybersecurity strategies, and emerging technologies. His work focuses on helping organizations strengthen digital trust through structural government frameworks, risk management practices, and international recognized standards. Marvin's professional interests span across cybersecurity governance, AI-enabled system, digital risk management, and compliance with global frameworks such as ISO-based management systems and security-based practice. So through his work, he has helped organizations translate complex technical risk into strategic decisions that supported and secure sustainable digital transformation. In addition to his consulting and governance work, Marvin actively contributes to Africa's technology ecosystem through mentorship, knowledge sharing, and participation in innovation-focused forums. He has been involved in collaboration with technological initiatives and masterclass hosted by organizations globally, where he shares insight on security, trust, and responsible innovation in emerging digital systems. Marvin is particularly passionate about advancing conversation around AI governance, cybersecurity, and other frameworks in shaping Africa's digital future. So I would like us all to welcome Mr. Marvin into the class today. Mr. Marvin, can you hear me? Hello.
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Wow, wow, amazing, amazing. So please let us appreciate Mr. Marvin for having today's session. So let us just give him a thumbs up or a round of applause with the emojis so he can proceed from here. Permit me to stop sharing. So Mr. Marvin, you can take it from here.
Okay. Thank you, sirs. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Mr. Ade, you have said a lot. I don't think that's me. I don't think that's me that we're talking about, but I will from today, right? From today, I will be the man that you just introduced. And also for everyone on the call, thank you so much for joining. We're about to have a fantastic session. And as a rule, right, in my classes, I need us all to participate, right? And just to just assume that we are already AI and ML engineers, and this is just us having our business call, right? So, I'd love to know who I am with. I'll be calling out names, right? I have made a promise on the WhatsApp group, and there are prizes to be won. There are games to be had, right? It's going to be fun. And if you don't choose to participate, you're going to miss out, right? So, Mr. Day, please take note of who is commenting, who is, unmuting, who is contributing. That one person is going to get something at the end of the session, right? We're going to have today's session, of course, and next week's session as well. So, I need, you know what? In the spirit of goodwill, instead of one person, I'm gonna pick two. And yeah, that's just me. I'm gonna pick two people, right, who are going to gain from myself. Okay. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining today's class. We are going to have a blast when it comes to the world of AI, right? I just want to run us through last week's topic where we were talking about what is ML, right? I think assignments were issued, right? I just want to see who, by a show of hands, who participated in the assignment, just by emojis. Who did their homework? See, now this is the first question. Who did their homework? Who did their homework? Yeah. I want to know. I want to know. I want to see who I am to uh, befriend. And if we did not do our homework, well, we will be just doing a short recap, right, of what we had learned last week, so that we can understand what we're trying to do today, right? So I don't want us to take up too much time in in what we did last week with Mr. Mufe. But I do want us to understand that there's so much for us to learn, and it doesn't really feel right to be left behind, right? So last week we did architecting with low code ML, right? And we spoke about pre-built APIs. We talk about Auto ML, BigQuery ML, Vertex AI. The platform overview. We learned how to work with data, right? And just ask a question. I'm just trying to figure out when I say, let me just start sharing my screen. Let me just try and do something. Just give me a second. I saw memes recently where someone was like, let me share my screen. I'll share the meme on the I'll share my meme on the let's see. Please let me know if you can see my screen, please. Okay. What do we see? What do we see? Right.
What
Someone
is
please.
machine learning? Rules plus
Awesome.
data output, data plus output equals rules.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Mr. Ade, you also want this present?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
it's a
want
free
you
for all.
to. I'm just kidding.
I'll send. We're about to do something great, right? Amaka, Patricia, Labe, whoever's on the call, yeah, feel free to, you know, put in uh your put in your comments, right? So, what is ML? What is machine learning, right? We learned last week that ML is just allowing a computer, right, to learn from the data that we're going to provide it so that it can make its own decisions, right? This is not to be confused with programming, which is giving it a set of rules to follow, right? Like 1 + 1 = 2. When we come to ML machine learning, it is it understanding what these integers mean. When I say integers, I mean I'm talking about numbers, right? What does 1 + 1 represent, right? And we need to give it room to make mistakes. We need to give it room to understand what exactly are we working with. Are we working with numbers? Are we working with pictures? Are we working with letters, right? So AI understands these things differently, right? When we talk about data, it understands it a whole lot different than we do. I would love to have shown you something called feature extraction and also embeddings, but I think that is also going to be touched in a later classes by my other colleagues. And yeah, but when we talk about AI, we talk about three things, not even AI, machine learning. We talk about three things. It's supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Supervised, it's learning from labels, right? Like this is a cat, this is a dog, right? When you give it two images of something, it knows how to distinctly understand what is what. Yeah. Unsupervised, it finds the hidden patterns, right? It sees, okay, this is a cat and this is a dog. Then the pattern here that you're showing me animals, right? You're showing me domesticated animals. You're showing me wild animals. That is the hidden pattern that it's trying to figure out. When we talk about reinforcement, it is learning by error, right? 1 + 1 is not 11. 1 + 1 is not zero. Well, sometimes it's zero if we're talking about binary, but it has to learn by error so that you can give it rewards. You can give it tokens like, hey, you know what? You did a good job, right? You did a good job. I want us to celebrate you in whatever form, right? So that is what I want us to understand when it comes to machine learning. There's three things that you have to understand. There's so many things under the hood when we talk about supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement, and those are things that we want to talk about, right? So last week we took a chance to understand what pre-built APIs are, AutoML, right? BigQuery, custom code, and I want us to try and attempt the assignment, right? It's very essential for us to see and to understand what we're talking about because these are things that you can do on your own. These are things that you can apply on another person's systems. These are things that you can sell yourself as an AI engineer so that, you can approach a business and say, hey, you know what, I can give life to your data, right? I can breathe information to this data, right? It's not just a matter of buying and selling, it's a matter of understanding what's going to happen tomorrow, right? AI has the capabilities of forecasting, AI has the ability of regression, AI has the ability of linear regression, it has the ability to know, right? It has the ability to map out patterns, right? So you yourself, you have the responsibility of saying, I as Caroline, I as Amaka, I am going, right, to understand what it means to train models, right, with BigQuery, right? So, we'll just quickly run through this. Of course, I'll share this uh, with the, with the rest of you during, in our WhatsApp chat book. Let's see. Let's try and go to, yeah. So this is what I want us to talk about today. It's just a brief overview of what we did last week, right? It's collaborating with data and models, right? We want to understand how is our data, right? Our data is only as good, we are only as good as our data. I know people always like, oh no, it's the machine that did this. No, 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 no. It's the machine, right? It's a tool. It's a tool to help you achieve a certain goal. So we need to learn how to manage, we need to learn how to classify, right? Version it. We need to know how to govern the data that powers our AI system, right? So that it can give us exactly, right, what we need, right? And it relies on this one thing, one key thing, it's data. An AI model cannot run without data. Data is like its oxygen, right? Again, I'll repeat that. Data, it's like AI's oxygen. Without data, your AI is just there. So garbage in, garbage out, right? As we've said, quality of data is most important when it comes to training your model, right? Most machine learning projects fail not because of bad algorithms, but because of the quality of data, right? That is where we usually have issues. That's where we have our bottlenecks, right? We need to understand in our types of data, the ones that we just worked with, right? Are we working with structured data? Are we working with unstructured data, right? When we talk about structured, we talk about tables, we talk about rows. I see on with my I spy with my little eye, I see an accountant on the call, right? They know they work with tables, they work with rows, they work with columns, right? They work with CSV files, they work with databases, right? For those of us who are in graphic design, you work with images, you work with videos, audios, freeform, right? Text documents, right? Semi-structured data. These are for maybe the professionals on the call, the software developers on the call, web developers on the call, your JSON files, XML log files, all these different types of data types are processed differently. And you need to know how to go about giving it life, or rather turning your data into workable information, right? So that you don't get to experience issues around quality. You don't get to experience issues around results, like when we talk about problem definition, right? We are not solving a problem if we are the problem as well. We want to create a tool, right? Like we would like to create an AI powered tool, but we don't have, we're not investor ready. So there's lack of buy-in, right? There's technical complexities. There's so many tech stacks that are under, our tools that we're here, we are vibe coding, we are, developing chatbots, we're developing all these automated systems, but do we understand it? Yeah. Behind the scenes, do we understand it in the back end? That's what we try and understand when we talk about garbage in, garbage out. We don't want to be this guy who's jumping in, the garbage can. We are trying to at least leap and be safe, or maybe even not even attempt these things. But we just have to assure ourselves that one, we are trying to work with workable data, right? Until that point, check, check. When I say check, check, just throw what's it called? You can unmute and say check, check yourself. And or you can throw in a thumbs up. Caroline says check, check. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Check, check. I need someone else to check, check with me. Who else is check, checking with me?
Check,
Who? You people don't want this prize. I
check
think
again.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Amaka, yes, thank you very much. So, guys, I want to tell you a story. You can see there's some images there, but we need to relax. We need to relax. We need to understand what data labeling is. Yeah, this is the most expensive part, right? Because you can imagine, let's say a data set with 10,000 images. How are we going to classify that information? You need a lot of people, right? We need a lot of people to annotate. You need a lot of people to give meaning to train this AI system to understand that this, right, is X or this is Y. This is a car, and this is this is what usually is most controlled with a car. This is a bus and this is a car, right? There's a distinction between them. So when I talk about supervised ML models, right? We're learning with labeled examples, right? Someone is going to tag every data points to the correct answer. So a long time ago, when I was but a young man. I was like 5 or 7, I think. I'm an old man now. I might not look like my age. I know my photo looks like I'm 50. I might look like I'm 50, but yeah, we moved, right? Back in the day when I was young, and I was sent by my dear mom to go buy milk, right? And for the love of them, they used to love KCC, right? In here in Kenya, there's something called KCC milk, right? But you see, to a young boy, milk is milk, right? I was sent to the shop. I was told, go get milk, right? The ones that we usually get. And they were in this Tetra Pak shape, right? They were in this shape. I was like excited. I wanted to go. Now, little did I know that yes, there's a preference. My mom had a preference, like, oh, go with Casey, the one with the cow on on the packet. But all of them have cows on their packet. There's just one that has a distinct large cow. You see, now we are confused. If I am an AI model, what is happening? How am I going to excuse, yeah, confusion, right? There's image classification issues. So, of course, I went with the wrong one, and suffice it to say, there was punishment. But how do we, how do we ensure that our AI does not make mistakes like Marvin when he was 5 years old? So, us as AI engineers, us as data scientists, us as data engineers, ML engineers, we have to understand our data, especially classification or maybe the task type of what we want our supervised ML to do. So picture yourself at the supermarket and you've been told we need a detergent, right? There's product X and brand Y, right? There has to be a classification between brand and product. That's what we call image classification, right? That's how, and a lot of algorithms right now run on your favorite e-commerce websites, right? Look at Amazon. Yeah, they immediately when you type detergent, it's just going to bring you one, the most popular one, or one, the one that is mostly trusted by the public. Yeah. Another way to understand supervised ML models in terms of data labeling is something we call sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis relies on the negative and the positive impact on a statement. Like today, I know all of us are going to come out with this class and say Marvin is the best trainer in the world, and we need to ensure that we send him money and we honor him. He's a great guy. He's the best guy around, right? So that is, I mean, I've not said it. It's you people who are saying it. It's not a me thing. It's a it's a you people thing. But point that I'm trying to make is that we are we are trying to we're trying to understand what's it called, feedback, right? Our ML is trying to understand feedback. Is it positive feedback or is it negative feedback? You might write a snippet and say, I found this class difficult, right? That is a negative statement, right? In terms of sentiment analysis. So that our ML is going to try and figure out that, hey, this is going to be a bit, maybe there might need to be a change, right? It's going to alert us that, hey, maybe you might need to switch up your antics. You might need to switch up your strategy, right? An audio clip for speech, right? We look at speech recognitions. Most of us, for the longest part now, have been working with note takers. We've been working with, what's it called, annotators, right? That's something that we rely on. That's a supervised ML model, right? Running in the background, listening to Marvin speak, right? It's going to discern what I'm trying to speak. Am I speaking English? Je parle français? Am I speaking Dutch? Naongea Kiswahili? What language am I using, right? And it's going to try and figure out, is this guy speaking English, Swahili, Yoruba, yeah, Hausa, whatever language, it's going to try and figure out, right? But it has to be trained in that, it has to be labeled, it has to be trained in that language first, right? Shell photo of multiple items, right? Bounding box and names. So it has to detect objects, right? This is usually it's mostly used in what's it called? It's mostly used in self-driving cars, object detection. You need to understand who a pedestrian is. You need to understand who what is a dog? What is a cat? Who are they using? Is this what's it called? A zebra crossing? Is this a lamppost? Okay. Why does this lamppost also have traffic lights, right? I need to discern what's happening. So that's bounding boxes and names usually come in handy when it comes to object detection, right? And then when we are talking about medical applications, right? For the doctors on the call, right, or for those of us who've practiced medicine, right? When we talk about binary classification, it's either yes or no, right? It's on or off, one or zero. So because we need to be accurate, quite frankly, and especially when it comes to I want to say not imaging, but medical, what's it called? Medical data, right? We need to be very, very, very accurate when it comes to that. So the tools that we used last time, like Vertex AI, can enable us to go around, data labeling, right? It has a labeling studio, it has Scale AI, and this is why I really need us to do our assignment, right? I really need us to do our assignment. So kindly try and go back and see if you can attempt, right, what it is that we're trying to do. Now, when we talk about data quality, remember I told you quality is the bread and butter for AI, right? So a couple of things that usually, as a professional in AI, right, as a professional, as an AI specialist, you always have to consider many things like missing values, right? You can't say that, let's say, for example, as I've put there, like 30% of customer ages are blank, right? So it will start leaning on incorrect patterns, right? It will start leaning on incorrect patterns. What we need to do, what our responsibility is, we can mark the absent ages, right? We can exclude them. We can mark them as something to note by the AI that, hey, maybe we need to ignore this, missing figure, right? For accuracy's sake. Duplicates, right? You have sometimes as humans, we are prone to error. We might input the same item 3 times, 5 times over. So the AI is going to figure out like, oh, maybe there's more of it existing in a certain place. So it's an overrepresentation of a certain data type. So we get to have something that works with what we call a deduplication pipeline. We get to have what's it called? Check, right? Quality check on what is one uh acceptable, what has been inputted twice, what is existing more than it needs be, right? Inconsistent formats, right? I know most of us, when we were signing up for the classes, were like, hey, I come from Nairobi, I come from Kenya, I come from Tanzania, I come from Dodoma, I come from Rwanda, I come from Addis Ababa, I come from Nigeria, I come from Ikoyi, I come from South Africa, I come from Lesotho. So sometimes Marvin might just say, I come from Kenya, Kenya. Someone might say, I'm from the KE. Someone might use lowercase and say, I'm from Kenya. Someone might say, I'm from the NG, right? I'm from Nigeria. Or someone might just try and be cool and say, I'm from Niger. right? Now it's going to treat it as the same thing, right? So we have to have standardization rules to ensure that it understands that there's no difference, right? There's no difference between Marvin saying he's from Kenya and Amaka saying she's from KE, right? So we need to understand that these are issues that we need to fix, especially, right, in terms of data quality, right? Outliers. I know there's people who are older than, you know, older than the term old, right? Ancient of day, like myself. Yeah, I'll nominate myself. So, if we're trying to run an ML, right, system or an automated system with our information, right, of those of us who are on the call, we might try and say, hey, um, there might be an older guy here, and it's going to try and skew our calculation. Um, it might be a demographic error, right? So we clip or remove the extremes, right? Just because Marvin is 500 years old and the rest of you are below a certain age gap doesn't mean that all of us are, going to reach Marvin's age. It is that we understand that there's outliers, right? How many times have we met someone who's 500 years old, right? You see, that's an anomaly, and we have to mark it as an anomaly. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not naturally occurring. It's just that it is rare, right? So we need to now stipulate to the ML that, hey, this is a rare finding, but it should not really influence, right, the rest of the data set, right? And then when we talk about bias, right? Training photos only coming from one region, right? Let's see. Let me try and give an example. Right now, the models that we're using currently in Africa, right? These are things that have been trained. Yes, they've been trained by Africans, but they've been trained in regards to the European and the American context, right? So applying it. So for instance, as an example exercise, go to ChatGPT and say, I want to start a business with, I want to start a business. These are my skills, right? What do you need me to do? And it's going to generate, something general, of course, because we're not going to try and give it too much of our information. We can't say that, hey, my name is Marvin, I'm from Zimbabwe, and this is what I want to do. This is what I practice. We can just give it general information. The model is going to return back information pertaining to the region where it's trained. So it's going to give you figures in dollars like, oh, you might need $5,000 to start on this thing. So you see, there's a bias there. Yeah. It's not going to tell me that I might need Zimbabwean dollars. It's telling me that I need US dollars for me to do this thing, right? Because it doesn't understand where I'm from, because it has only been trained in one or other, the major part of it has been trained in one specific region. So we need to have diverse data collection points, right? We need to have diverse data collection points. And then labeling noise, right? I've used the cat and dog as example, right? Sometimes we need to have quality checks, right? We need to have quality checks, especially when it comes to our, may say a consensus system where we can all agree and say, yes, the images that we are seeing right now, the images that we saw up here, like all of these are different brands of milk. Yeah. But they're all distinct, right, in their own regard. One has maybe a different fat content, one has probably sugar, one is low in fat, whatever. So we need to have quality checks to ensure that we are spending time in cleaning and preparing our data, right, for what our model is going to use, right? So that is what we did last week, right? And again, I will emphasize, please, 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 let's try and go back to the drawing board. I will be taking us through what we did last week, just to remind you, just as a reminder. But again, we need to also push ourselves forward. Let's try and be accountable to ourselves, right? Let's try and give, right? Let's try and give our best approach. Check, check. Until that point, check, check. Are we good?
Check.
Thumbs up.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. you very much. Amaka, I've not heard your voice. I've not heard your voice. People don't want, this presence. Yeah. Looks like. Grace, where are you? Where are you? Yeah. Labe, where are you? Anyway, um, can you just give me a sec? Let me share my screen over what we'll be doing today, before we get into something else. Just a second. Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen now, but
Awesome, 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 awesome. Yes, so we are going to be learning today. I want us to dedicate our time and attention to something very key, right? The reason why I want us to talk on the call is because I want us to, one, imagine ourselves, right? I know we have our dedicated 9 to 5s when it comes to who we give ourselves, or rather the identity that we give ourselves, right? But in this hour, right, of our class, in this left hour of our class, I want us to I want us to designate ourselves, right? Different identities, right? Different roles and responsibilities. I want to designate the role of data scientist. I want to designate the role of data engineer and ML engineer. And I want a project manager as well, right? This is going to come in handy in understanding how we're going to collaborate with each other. What is our shared responsibility, especially when it comes to our model life cycle, right? What is our shared responsibility? So the learning objectives for today, right? We are going to help define what is data collaboration, right? And what is its meaning? What is the importance in AI project teams, right? We want to identify key roles in cross-functional AI teams, right? And how do we interact with each other, right? How do I talk to Caroline? How do I talk with Mr. Ade? How do I talk to Amaka, right? How do I, how do we apply the ML model lifecycle from development to versioning to monitoring and governance, right? We're going to be working with tools. I'm going to take you through at least GitHub and Vertex AI because I don't want us to have a disconnection from our last class, please. So um, let's be keen in, doing one. Again, I'm emphasizing the assignment, but also there's other things that we're going to be doing today. And I believe that it is going to be a hand-holding process where all of us, none of us is going to get left behind. So if you're joining us on phone, I think you can also do it at the same time. It depends on how maybe what your phone's capabilities, but I feel like you can do it as well. You can just access it via your browser. We're going to create a GitHub account. We're going to be working with Vertex AI today, and we're going to be going through while we're working with a data set, right? I'll be sharing a data set once we get to our lab uh, portion of the classes. And we're going to explain the terms when it comes to data governance. We want to explain what it means by access controls and responsible AI principles. We want to analyze real world AI case studies, right? That is the bread and butter. That is our homework for today and next week, right? So we need to be on point. I need us all to, as the young people say, we need to lock in, right? We need to lock into this and ensure that we get these concepts, we understand them, because it's very essential for all of us to understand. So to our class, why do we experience AI failures in our organization, right? Why? Because one, we need to understand, we need to understand um, that 85%, of AI projects that fail is not because of the algorithms, but it is because of the math, not because of the math or algorithms, but it's because of the organizations, the processes, the policies, right? That were a mess, right? And this is by Gartner. That's Gartner, which is reporting on this. And if I was to paint a picture, I want you to imagine between us, all of us, I want to say that we're all friends on the call. Imagine between us and our friends, we're trying to bake the world's biggest cake, right? Yesterday there's a conversation around cake that I will tell you at a later date, but we're trying to bake a big cake, right? So I would say Mr. Day is the one who goes to buy the flour. That actually, this is a trigger point. There's another story for cake as well, but again, that's another story altogether. Mr. Day goes to buy cake, right? But he doesn't tell anyone, right? And then we have Patricia, who's like, she's going to mix the batter, but in secret, yeah. And then Caroline is like, let me show up with a decorator with pink icing. The cake is supposed to be chocolate, right? Right. And what is the result of, all this? What is the result of this cake of ours? It's a monstrosity, right? It's salty, it's collapsed in disaster. We don't have a process, we don't have a handoff system, we don't have a handoff strategy, we don't have someone from point A to point Z. We just have people doing things on their own. So that is exactly what happens with most AI projects when teams do not talk, right? We call these data silos, right? We call these data silos, right? So each person is hiding the ingredient from in their own fridge, right? So this matters, right? In that one, we know who is supposed to be responsible, right? So we need to build, right? We need to build a diverse team and AI expertise. That is our data engineers, our data scientists, our software engineers, our business and compliance teams, right? We need to understand that these data silos, or rather quality of data, or poor collaboration is going to introduce duplicated efforts, right? We don't want to make too many cakes, right? We have misaligned models, right? We have models that understand something different from what we wanted to do. Actually, there's even a point I wanted to show you guys. As we finish this, I'll show you what we need to do. And then there's costly retraining. That's one of the big things, right? Our models must be reproducible. When I say reproducible, it means we can repeat it over and over and over and over and over again, right? It has to be governable, right? It has to have these verification points, these checklist points that we can say it is working operationally, right? And we need to have performance monitors. Like, can we continuously improve? Okay, since it was working on Monday and it worked on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, I feel like we can add this new feature to it, right? But this is going to be impossible without us aligning, right? So you have the FANG companies. FANG meaning Facebook, meaning Amazon, meaning Apple, meaning Netflix, meaning Google. Yeah. Uber is also there, right? That have tightly coordinated cross-functional teams. So why should we not have the same for us, right? So here's our here's our exercise for today. I'm going to designate responsibilities, yeah, to each and every one of us. And we, wait, how many of us are on the call? 13. Awesome. It's going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so um, we're going to what's it called? Divide ourselves in two, right? I want at least two data engineers. I want two data scientists. I want two ML engineers. I want two project managers or business analysts or managers. Let me designate these responsibilities on the chat. Let me see who is going to do what. Mr. Ade, I need you to do, I need you to do, I need to be a data engineer, right? I also need, let's see. Who else? Who else is also on this call, right? Who was in there? Yeah. Mr. Abdul Bassett. Awesome. Right. Right. I will put you as another data engineer. Right. Let's not be scared about whatever we're doing. This is just practice. Yeah. You won't have to build, well, you will have to build something. But again, like I said, this is just a class. I want to encourage us to Google. I want to encourage us to fail. I'm encouraging us to, try our best. The only way for us to learn is to fail, right? So who's this who's telling me hi? Whoever's told me hi, I want you as a data scientist. I want you as a data scientist. I want you as a data scientist. Your name is a lot, so I'll just call you hi. Okay. We need Jessica. Fun fact, I have a cousin named Jessica. I I need to call her. I need I need to find out what's going on. Jessica, I need you to be an ML engineer. Yeah, I need you to be an ML engineer. You will be an ML engineer. Um, who else do I want to? There we go. I like that attitude, Jessica. Awesome. I need Grace. Grace. I need you to. I'm writing it in the chat just so you know where you are. Feel free to collaborate. In fact, even the assignment will need you to collaborate. Um, Miss Patricia, right? I will put you to be our project manager. You give project manager energy. It's giving project manager. And Miss Amaka, right? Amaka, you will be our business analyst, right? I'm encouraging all of us to try, have fun. Have fun. There's someone called Love Days. I love that name. I love that name dearly. Love Days, I need you to be our data scientist as well. We don't have a data scientist. Oh my God, I've been right. What have I been writing? There's Patricia's PM, Amaka as a business analyst, Grace as ML engineer. Oh yeah, data scientist as the guy who told me hi, or the lady who told me hi, whoever you are. Love Days. Love Days, I need you to be our data scientist as well, right? I need you to be that. I think that's everyone. Mr. Day, I also need you to be here. Mr. Day. Yeah, Mr. Day, I need you to be our manager. Our manager. Mr. Ade and Mr. Mofe. Yeah.
All right, I'll be the
Yeah.
manager then.
You will be working with Mr. Mofe. You're in great hands. Mr. Mofe is yeah, up the big guy. He works for OpenAI and Meta's just in secret. So you're in great hands. Yeah, managers are going to be Mr. Mofe and Mr. Ade. Okay, it's in the chat. And these are our responsibilities, right? Understand your responsibilities, right? Figure out what these things are. Do your own research, do your own Google, right? Even on the call as well. On the call, feel free to be Googling like, what is my responsibility? What is Marvin meaning when it comes to PM, project manager, PM is project manager, project manager. Yeah, project manager. Yeah. So yeah, let's try and understand what our responsibilities are, right? What our responsibilities are. Thank you, Jessica. In fact, you get a token. Jessica, Mr. Day, Jessica, put Jessica as number one. You are getting a present. You're first in the race. Oh my God, this class is amazing. Okay, so this is our team. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Okay? Corruption. No, but the class is not yet over. We still have another hour. We still have another hour to our name. So let's try and work. Let's try and get interest. Mr. Ade is the one who's taking a toll. The managers on the
I
call
can
are the
see
ones taking a toll.
corruption in the chat box.
Mr. Ade, you're the one who's tolling, yeah? But Jessica has taken the lead somewhere somehow. I don't know what she's done, but Jessica is number one. Jessica is number one. We shall see who emerges at the top. So, um, guys, our roles are essential. It's for us to understand. So, for those of you who have designated as our DEs, our data engineers, right? It is your role to understand our extraction, our transformation, and our loads when it comes to our data pipelines, right? What do we mean by building data pipelines in our ETL, right? We need to understand where do we store our data, right? Is it in warehouses? Is it in lakes? Because our data sets are very large, by the way. Data sets are very large, right? It is up to you to understand how do we manage this large data set? What exactly are we trying to do with it, right? And then we want to ensure that our quality, right? Our quality is of high importance. In fact, scratch everything I've said. I told you data quality is the bread and butter for AI, right? So we want one for you to understand data quality because if you don't give us cool, fresh data, our data scientists, our ML engineers, and our PMs are going to be in danger, right? And I'm going to show you through an illustration, right? The tools that we need our data engineers to understand are, Spark and Airflow, and those things that we'll be doing later during the course, right? We're not going to be doing them today, but these are things that you should understand as per now, right? Understand what your responsibilities are, understand how these tools work. Then our data scientists, right? We want to explore and analyze data sets, right? Data scientists, you get to experiment, you get to give meaning into this data, right? It is your responsibility to develop and train ML models with what you have in store for us. You've gotten the information or you've gotten the data from our data engineers. They've cleaned it up, they've processed it. Now it's you to analyze it and give it meaning so that you can push it to our model so that it can start working. We're going to be working with feature engineering on the call today. Hopefully we can do our exercise and validation points, right? We're going to be working with Python, right? Guys, again, let's not be afraid of these terms, right? Let's not be afraid of these terms. Loveness is asking, what is the project? Right? The project, one, this is your homework. That is one. Two, the project that we're going to be trying to do is we are understanding what's it called? Relationship with each other. Right? Loveness, what did I put you as? I put you as a DS, I think. Yeah, a data scientist. Yeah. So I just need you to understand what your responsibilities are, right? What we'll be working with, right? We'll be working with Python, we'll be working with Jupyter notebooks, right? Do not be afraid, do not be dismayed. These are simple things, right? We're not going to be building Facebook from scratch. We're going to be working with small snippets of code, right? Again, like I said, feel free to Google, feel free to use Claude, to use Gemini to give you an understanding of what these things mean because it's all about practice. It's all about practice. Our ML engineers, yeah, it is up to you to understand how are we going to productionize our models, right? From our data scientists. Our data scientists have given us a trained model. How are we going to turn it into a digital tool, right? How are we going to build it so that we are going to push it into deployment, right? So that customers or rather end users are going to be using it, right? How are we going to manage our performance and monitoring pipelines? How are we going to set up those systems, right? And what are the tools that you'll be using, right? We will, again, like I said, we'll be sticking to Vertex AI because I want us to not have a disconnect from our last class, right? But feel free to do research on TF serving because again, I know we'll be touching on it later during the course, but Vertex AI is something that we're going to work on or rather work with today. All right. And then lastly, right? Lastly, which is I want to say Amaka, I want to say our managers, although our manager don't want you to do anything, but our manager, our project managers and our business analysts, that is Amaka and Patricia, I want you to define our success metrics. What is our KPIs? What are we trying to achieve? Right? What is the user story that we're trying to solve? I want you to translate business needs, right, to data requests, right? Understand it from a business standpoint, right? We are your team. You're the one who has to tell us, hey, our we just got a client who needs this AI tool that does A, B, C, and D. right? We approached this organization and they gave us they gave us their data set around, maybe we approached a coffee shop or a coffee company, right? A coffee house, right? And you have to now set the pace in terms of governance. Who accesses the data? How are we going to go about our data policies, right? How are we going to bridge the you know, the levels between technical and business teams, right? So it is your responsibility to collaborate with all of us, right? So that is what we need to understand when we talk about cross-functional AI teams. Let me share my screen about something else. There's something that my mentor shared with me, when he recently came to Kenya. That is the great Dr. Orlando. Um, let's see, tree sway diagram. Until that point, check, check. Are we having fun? Are we enjoying ourselves? Check, check.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Who's that? Who's that who spoke? Who's this who's getting points? Amka, you're getting points. You are getting points. Points for
He
everyone. I feel
said
like
either
Oprah.
we do a thumbs up or we speak.
No,
So we
it's
need both.
wow. Okay, but it's not me. It is Mr. Ade who's giving these points. I'm just being frivolous. I'm feeling like Oprah, but I understand there's corruption somewhere. I will change my ways. Thank you so much for raising that concern. Okay, I think I have the image pulled up. Sharing my screen. Da, 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 da. Where is my screen? Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We
Can you see
can.
my screen? You can. Okay. So how has the customer explained, right, what we're trying to do, right? They've said, maybe the customer said, I'm looking for a swing set, right, that's going to be on a tree. You as Patricia, maybe you said like, oh, maybe this swing is supposed to, I don't know. And you see how you've understood it, right? And the next person, right, our analyst, our data scientist, right? That's what they that's what they have come up with in terms of designing it. Our programmers, right, our engineers, that's how they wrote it, right? The beta testers, that's what they received, right? They got something very, very, very macabre. How Amaka described it, right? She was like, we want something great, right? Yeah, something great for the customer, right? She has even given it a whole couch, yeah, a whole couch in terms of a swing set, right? So these are the things. This is why we need to collaborate. This is why we need to understand that we hold a responsibility, most especially in understanding how this project is trying to come up. Yeah. How is our project documented? Our managers, right? Are we documenting these points that are being given frivolously? Are we documenting it? Yeah. I don't see a tally system. Mr. Day, we will remove you from this company. Anyway, operations, yeah. What has been installed? Yeah. What are we billing the customer with high prices? Yeah. How it's supported. Our data engineers, yeah. Where were you? Marketing, right? We've only marketed the swing. We've spoke about, wow, it's supposed to, I'm seeing that it's written I swing. Interesting. But we've spoken about the swing, but what matters is the support, right? Like what exactly we want to happen. And the end customer. Speak the problem with students,
So, Mr.
right?
Marvin, your network is breaking a bit. We can't hear you
So,
clearly.
okay, things into key-
We can't hear you at all.
I'm sure he's having some network issues, and we can all see that. So let's just give him a few minutes while he reconnects and he's back on. Let's just give him a few minutes. All right.
Hello, can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yes, you're
Hello?
audible. Yes, you're audible
Okay,
now.
okay, okay. So sorry, guys. Why is my internet misbehaving? It's never done this way. But I think you get the gist of what I was trying to share, in terms of the tree swing diagram. Um, yeah, so let's get back. Let me start sharing my presentation, then we can get to our lab part of our class today. Just give me a second. Okay. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Amaka. Another point for Amaka. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Amaka, your teammates don't want you to win. Yeah. I don't know. Well, there's some issue.
Hello, Mr. Marvin.
Yeah.
Okay, your network was breaking a bit. That's why I'm just trying to make sure that it's audible now. Hello, Mr. Marvin. Okay, I guess his network has been the problem for today's session. So let's just give him a few minutes while he reconnects to the session back. And for Patricia, for every point is being noted. So there's no need to protest. Once you make, once you communicate with him or you communicate in the session, you get the point.
In Nairobi, we love protests. Now I want protests.
All
I
right,
think
let's
I'm
just give
back.
it. All right. Mr.
I think
Marvin is
I'm
back.
back. Okay. All right. Let me just share my screen. Apologies for my network today. I don't know why. Out of today of all days, no
Hmm.
idea.
Not controllable.
But it happened. Yeah, it happens like that. Demos and presentations, they always be like that sometimes. But let me know if you can see my screen again.
Yes,
You
I can.
can.
Okay, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. So now that we understand our roles and responsibilities, right? Now that we understand, um, our data engineers, the supply room manager, and the chef's assistant who build the pipes that bring fresh ingredients, right, to our kitchen every day. Yeah, they clean and organize and make sure that our vegetables and food are not rotten and not missing any pieces, right? So we need to understand them. Our data scientists, our experimental chefs, right? The people who are creative, who they play with ingredients, they give different tastes and recipes. They invent new flavors, right? They explore data and train models in notebooks, right? So yeah, those are things that we need to understand. Our ML engineers, the head chef, right? The head chefs who serve thousands, right? You take the recipes and you give them to our data scientists for them to create and turn it into real, fast, and reliable dishes, right? For our customers who will enjoy it, right? So when we talk about customers, we talk about our production and deployment pipelines, right? And handling, monitoring, and automatic retraining of our models, and our PMs and BAs and managers deciding what the customer would actually want, and translating our business streams into clear instructions for our technical teams, right? From there, we understand. Now we want us to understand how do we turn raw data to a deployed model, right? The full pipeline, right? We need to understand what we mean by every arrow is a handoff, and handoffs are where 80% of the problems happen in real life, right? So for instance, right, we are going to, since we're on the topic of food, right, we are going to use pizza, right? Pizza making analogy, yeah. And it's easy for us to picture. And if you've never had pizza, find me, yeah, find me. So, one, we're going to talk about collection and ingestion, that which is what we did with Mr. Mufe last time, right? As data engineers, we went shopping for fresh tomatoes. So that is our raw data, the data that we got from Kaggle, right? Remember, we had to create an account on Kaggle, right? Which is our dataset repository. It's thousands of data sets living there, right? So feel free to go collect, right, and understand it. Yeah, then we move on to our pre-processing and feature engineering, right? This is what we're going to be trying to do today. So our data engineers and our data scientists, we're going to wash, we're going to chop, we're going to season our tomatoes, right, into useful slices, right? These are specific steps to ensure that we are going to hand off to the next person, right? Kindly look at the designations under here. You need to know who you are, who you're going to interact with, who we're going to have a conversation, because we're going to have a practice later, right? So, we were talking about modeling and training. Our data scientists are going to experiment with different sauces and spices. We're going to try and give it different flavors, right? Our evaluation and review, the whole team, right, is going to taste it together and give it an honest feedback, right? We're going to critique, we're going to review, right? Because we need constructive criticism in our product, right? We want honest feedback, right? Because we are all accountable to the success of this project. And deployment and serving, right? The ML engineers, we want to put our finished pizza in the oven for the real customers, right? Those are the ones who are going to interact, the end users who are going to interact with the product. And then monitoring and retraining our ML engineers again. We're going to watch if our customers love it, right? If the taste changes over time, right? That is our data. We call it data drifting. We call, sometimes we'll have to loop back, right? We'll look back to maybe there was a shift in performance, maybe there was a shift in maybe the model's thinking capacity, right? We'll have to go back to the drawing board, right? So handoffs are key, right? You just don't, do things for the sake of doing it. It's understanding who's responsible for what and what are they supposed to be doing it for us. So we have so many tools that will help us, like Google TFX, which formalizes the life cycle of, automated quality gates between teams. We have data contracts, right? Which are usually formal agreements between the data producers, so the data engineers, and the consumers, which is our data scientists and ML engineers, right? And then training and serving SKU, right? We're going to be doing pre-processing activities that must be identical with the ones that we did at training and serving, right? Which is different teams and but the same code. Okay. I think we can move on to the next one. So we talk about data governance, right? Data governance, right? This is what I do on a day-to-day basis, right? It is understanding the policies, the procedures, the standards that make our shared efforts into trustworthy data, right? Remember, I told us quality of data is very important. It assures us on accuracy, it assures us on completeness and consistencies, right? Data lineage, where did it come from? How old is it, right? It had to have come from somewhere. It had to have been churned from somewhere, right? There has to be a source from where we're getting this information. Our catalog, where we have a repository, we have a library, right, of data, right? We need to have a searchable system to look through our different assets, right? Policy enforcement, right? Automated compliance checklists. We need to see the data that we're using, right? Is it clean? Is it trustable, right? And if we are feeding it to our ML model, is our model explainable, right? Incident management, right? This is where we handle disasters. This is where I like to call it disaster recovery area, where we handle breaches and errors, right, that we experience during deployment or during production, right? So some ownership models, right, from centralized to shared features, like centralized, I want to say it's a one for all model. Yeah, we can say Mr. Ade, right, who's our big boss, yeah, has data that he's going to share it across the organization that we're all going to be working with. A distributed model would be working with different business departments, right, which helps us scale better because we are now accountable to what we're working on specifically, right? Right? We can't really pass on blame to the business team when the marketing team has its own form of data, right? Federated or data mesh, right? These are, shared models like Amazon and Google, right? Where you have similar standards, but local ownership. It's a shared standard between the data owners and the ones who are using it. And then there's data fabric, right? So it's a unified integration layer for automated data access. And then last one, which is the shared feature stores, which is having our teams share a pre-computed ML feature, like the one that Uber uses in Michelangelo. Again, feel free to Google these points. These are things that are interesting. I recently read that Uber has, this is for the cybersecurity personnel on the call. Uber has one of the best RBACs. Of course, that was after, remember they got hacked. There was a child who hacked them back in the day. No, I should stop saying back in the day. There's a child who hacked them some few years back.
How
But
are you?
um
Mm-hmm.
but
Talk to me.
hello? Hello? Miss Patricia, you're saying something? Oh, okay. Yeah, so Uber Michelangelo, they have their own RBAC, role-based access control systems, and we usually don't really understand what happens in the background. Like you order your cab, and then your driver has, the alert, and there's there's a high uh it's an elevated security feature that you should read about. I'll share the article with you. It's very interesting to read, but they have that model, right? And it's a different model from the business team, the consumers, the partners, the drivers, whoever, that they have it. So it's it's a shared feature, right? Within the system, they also have an ML system running in the background that also informs them, the drivers. They're sharing APIs with Google for mapping and everything else. So those are things that we need to understand when it comes to our data governance and ownership models, right? One can use the RACI matrix, right, for being responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed to define the ownership of who is going to run what, right? Until that point, check, check. Check, check.
Check, check.
Awesome. Thank you, Amaka. Yeah, another point for Amaka.
Noted. Hello, Mr. Marvin. I guess your network is a bit down. Please let's give him a few minutes while he reconnects his network. I guess he's having a very bad network today.
What do you understand by data quality? Any takers?
Sorry, Mr. Marvin, we didn't get that. Please, can you come again? Your line was off for a bit.
Oh, okay. I was just asking, until this point, I just want to ask, what do we understand by data quality, right? What do we understand by the term data quality? Sorry? Yes, Mr. Mofe, we can hear you. Oh, I think he must have unmuted by mistake.
Okay, I thought somebody
Anyone else
was
care to try?
talking.
Can I go?
Data quality is simply how good, how clean, how reliable your data is for making decisions and building AI systems, especially.
There we go. There we go. There we go. You see, now that's an honest point, Amaka. That's an honest point. Who wants to contest? Who wants to take the crown from Amaka? Well done.
No, sir.
Well done. Yes, Jessica. Try.
Okay. Data quality is how complete and trustworthy your data is.
Another banger. Another banger. Yeah. What does Rema say? Another ba Yeah, we're doing great. Caroline, do it. Do the thing. Do the thing. Caroline, your hand is up. You wanna try?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say it's more of like how clean and how valid your data can be used in, you know, let's say if it's a data set, how valid is it to the scenario in place, if it's in business or if it's in AI, uh, generating an AI model.
Another banger. Wonderful. Everyone is getting points. Mr. Day, give them the points. Give them the points. Kindly give me just a second. Let me
Noted,
change my
noted.
network.
All right, all right.
Sorry, guys. I was just changing my network. I wanted to know if you can define for me a data silo and why it is a problem. Why is it an issue? What is a data silo and why is it an issue?
Okay, can I go?
Yes, please.
This is top of my head. I'm thinking of an actual silo. So I'd say this is just where data is stored like in one big place and it's not necessarily stored. And so if you're gonna have teams and different people, because you've seen, you're talking about collaboration. If you're gonna have teams that are joining in and that need this data, maybe it could be a problem that this data is marked up in one place. It sort
Okay.
of data is sort of trapped, I'm thinking.
Okay. Wonderful. Another banger. Yeah. Another one before we go to the next bit. I want us to use this other
Let me
I
try.
want
Let me
Amaka
try.
again. Oh. Bad news.
Data
Bad news.
silo.
Let's go.
Data silo is when data is stored in one
Yeah.
place or in a
Uh-huh.
team and is not shared with each other. They don't share with each other. And then
Mm-hmm.
why is it a problem? It's because one, the team doesn't see the full picture or they don't see eye to eye on what they need to do. And then there can be duplicates of work. The same data may be collected. There may be inconsistency of information. And then AI systems will perform badly at the end of the day because the data will be scattered. Did you hear me, sir?
Guys,
Hello,
Amaka, I
sir.
want this. I've heard you. I'm just in awe. Let me clap for you in real time. Wonderful work. Amaka is trouble. Oh my days. I don't know how you guys are gonna survive. I don't know how you guys are gonna survive. This is really good, guys. Thank you so much for making the class interesting. I want us to do a recap of what we did last time, and then we can. I think. Oh, hold on. I think we can because I still have a bit of things to show you. Hold on. How many things do we have to go? Okay, we have quite a lot. But this is not going to take too much time. So let me just share my screen again. So we want to figure out what we mean by cross-team collaboration, right? We want to figure out what this means, right? How, right? The term is how specific roles, right? Collaborate. How specific roles collaborate. And also, this is just a you thing. Please keep it in mind that we are going to be using the this as a schema, for us to understand what it is that we're trying to do. So let's get practical, right? These are the most common arguments between roles and exactly how to fix them. So one issue between data scientists and ML engineers, usually data scientists will say they love messes, right? They have messy notebooks for exploration purposes. It's not that they're dirty people or disorganized. It is that they love to make those connections from a wide array of noise, right? They love to experiment with noise. For ML engineers, they need clean and testable code, right? So one way, usually they use Git repositories, like in terms of fixing it, they use Git repositories with the smart branch strategy. How many of us, by a show of hands, know Git? Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Oops, 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 oops. So sorry, guys. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. I think we're back at it again. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, very
Okay.
visible.
Okay, so we're talking about how specific roles collaborate, and we're talking about how data scientists and ML engineers usually have problems with each other. It's that data scientists usually love messy notebooks for exploration purposes, and ML engineers love clean, testable, environments or testable code. So how do we fix this? How do we have a way for them to collaborate? One way is using a shared Git repository. By a show of hands, by a show of, you can raise your hand, please. Who has, uh, who knows what Git is? By a show of hands, who knows what Git is? Patricia knows what Git. A point for Patricia for knowing what Git is. Okay, that's a bit unfair. Okay, Lovedays, no, well, I've given that most people know it now. Okay, Lovedays also has, great. So two people, no problem. I'll show us how to use Git. No problem. Thank you. Thank you, Lovedays. You can take down your hand. Okay, so a Git repository, usually this is where we get to communicate, right? Or rather collaborate with engineering teams or design teams on different changes and commits to our code or our programs, right? So I'll show you how to go about it. It's pretty much self-explanatory. It's an easy thing to set up, right? We have to agree on success metrics before any coding starts, right? I know data scientists, you love to experiment, but us as ML engineers, we want to know where are we going? Like, what is the end goal of this, right? So we have to have an agreed success metric before any form of experimenting or coding starts, right? ML engineers, you sit on data, right? And you have to be now the one to explain the explorations, right? The explorations that need to be made, to our data scientists, right? Docker is another collaboration tool, right? So it works exactly the same as a kitchen, right? Everyone has their own department that we're working at. For data engineers, usually a big problem is the data usually arrives late, right? Or changes are made without warning, right? So sometimes we need to draft up a formal data contract with a clear schema, a format, and speed promises, right? These are the what's it called? The sprints, these are the meetings, these are using tools, yeah, like Kafka, yeah, for smooth handoffs, right? We run automatic checks, right, with great expectations, right? For project managers and business analysts, right? You guys are at head to head. Amaka and Patricia, what is the problem, right? You have to make sure that your teams build something interesting, build something working, right? Build something that solves a problem. Not that it looks good. I saw an interesting debate the other day. Someone said, does Apple Music is superior to Spotify? Sure, aesthetically, right? But when it comes to Spotify, we usually look at user experience. It's easy for me to find new artists. It's easy for me to find new genres. It's easy for me to, collaborate with others as well. So what at the end of the day, is it serving me or is it serving itself? Looking good doesn't mean it is good. You see, that is the problem that we're trying to solve. So we can use tools like the project manager and business analyst. You are supposed to be using tools like Amazon's PR or FAQ document to define your features before any code is written, before the ML engineers do anything, before the data scientists try and experiment. It is up to you to define what the success is, right? Hold weekly model review meetings, right? With everyone, seeing is it serving what we had agreed upon, right? Then your business analysts, Amaka, you have to double check that the model is going to output actually what the business need is, right? What is the business logic? What are we trying to do? So um, there are a bunch of workflows and strategies that we can employ, which is what I've just spoken about. You can have your meetings, you can use tools like Jira, Notion. Continue.
Yeah, continue, although you were breaking at some point.
Oh, so sorry, so sorry. Who knows what GitHub is by a show of hands? Anyone know GitHub? Patricia knows GitHub. Ade knows GitHub. Um, only Jessica, you don't know GitHub? Interesting. Okay, so let me just show you GitHub, and I
No,
need you
sir,
guys
I
to.
don't know.
No problem, no problem, no problem. I'm with you. I'm with you. Don't worry. So, just as a by the way, I'll need us to create one. Let me just show you how to go about it. And let me just share my screen. Give me a second. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So we're going to go to GitHub. .com. Okay. Let me know if everyone is here. Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So this is GitHub. It's a platform where we will be us as engineers, us as developers, AI specialists will be coming here. There's so many tools for us to use here on GitHub. It's for code, it's for planning, it's for collaboration. Remember what we're trying to do. This is how we collaborate with our team and agents to plan on the next big thing, right? We can leave comments on how things are supposed to be done. We can commit changes, right? This is what we can be doing just to try and keep ourselves accountable, right? So kindly go to sign up. We'll be signing up. And depending on how you want to sign up, let's say I want to use let me use this at duck.com. My new password will be Just let me try and figure out a password. Oops. Oh, okay. That's not gonna work. If that works, I'm going to call myself AI Guru. The AI Guru. Let me call myself the AI Guru. Yeah, well, from Ken. Oh, it's not available. Okay. Let's say 20. Yeah, Guru 20. Yes, then we're going to create an account. You can also create an account with your Google account or Microsoft account, but this is just for us who just want to, I'm just showing you as a by the way, right? Well, okay, they have visual tests. Oh, this one, if I fail, you will see me. Use the arrows to move the person until they're standing on the icon. Okay, okay, okay. Submit. Okay, there's a lot. It's this one, yeah? It's the one that he was standing on initially. I think it's this one as well. Verifying. Save. Do I have access to it? Okay. 5, 4. Be with me. 5. Check.
Check already waiting for you.
Oh, you're waiting for me. Oh.
Yes, already
Hamaka
waiting.
is Hamaka is ahead. And there we go. Right? We have our GitHub already signed up. So this is where we'll be creating our project. You can just come here and maybe create our first project. We'll say we're gonna call this, what do we call our company? We're going to call our company, given that Amaka has been shining, it's gonna be Amaka Tech. Yeah. AI specialist. Right? So it's a public one that most people can join. We're going to leave it at public. You can even keep it private if you want to. You can add a README. You can add just as it's like an about, right? Like what are you about? No git ignore, no licenses because we don't have anything, but we can you can use licenses like MIT because those are free to use. And we can create a repository, like so we can create a repository and there we go, right? There you have it. So you can even come here and just search for Amaka Tech. You can just, yeah, the AI Guru Amaka Tech. And that's basically what we can try and do. We can also add README. We can make pull requests, actions, projects. Yeah, we can have our own projects here. Jump right in, right? We can add a new project. Jump right in again. Let's say, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? Project launch, right? By Amaka Tech. We're gonna put a project and who will we be sharing this with? Workflow, add status updates. But don't really fret about this. This is something that we'll be doing in time. Yeah. Again, I want us to do what we were supposed to be doing in terms of our homework last week. So now that we've created our GitHub, it'll be easier for us to save our progress, because it's also good for you guys to have evidence, right, to show people that you've done this thing, right? So this is just as a by the way. We'll be going over this during the uh, moving of the course, right? But any questions until that point? Any questions thus far?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Please feel free to fill in the attendance form. It's already been put in the chat. Guys, again, time is not on our side. I need us to do this thing very quickly because we have so much to digest. But at least now we understand our communication workflows, right? We know how GitHub works. We interact with Notion, right? For documentation purposes. Let me share my screen again. Hold on. So sorry. Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay. So, you can see my screen, yes? Hello, check,
Yes,
check.
yes, yes.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, model lifecycle, right? Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Amaka. Right. So we're going to be working on this last, and then we can hop on what we were doing last week, right? So, when we talk about machine, or rather model lifecycle, we want to know what we mean by completion, right? A model is never finished, right? It's something that needs care, right? In the stages that exist here, right? You understand the problems, right? Which is our PM's responsibility, our BA's responsibility, that is Amaka and Patricia, our data preparation team, our data engineers. Who are our data engineers again? I've forgotten you. I remember there's a guy who Lovedays. Lovedays is here, right? All teams, this is our responsibility, right? Deploying and serving our ML engineers, right? These are things that we're supposed to be doing, monitoring and training. Jessica, yeah, we have to understand what is going on. So these are our responsibilities, right? We, as project managers, defining our business goals, that's something we've already spoken about, drafting contracts, creating an initial sample. Our data engineers, we clean, right? Transform and add feature engineering to our model, right? We version it, right? We version our data set and we version our toolings by using BigQuery or DVC. We validate our quality gates, right? Model development, our data scientists, right? Our algorithm selection, are we doing are we doing regression? Are we doing forecasting? What are we choosing? What algorithm are we choosing to do, right? How are we tracking the progress of our model, right? Using Vertex AI experimentations, right? Setting hyperparameters in terms of tuning, right? Making sure that there's those safety guards so that it does not drift elsewhere. Then evaluations, right? All of us are in charge of metric validation and bias checks, peer reviews, right? Stakeholder approvals and documentation in model card. Then deploying and serving, right? This is where our machine learning engineers carries out canary rollouts and registers the model, right, and notifying consumers downstream. Then lastly, it's monitoring and retraining, where our ML engineers will be watching for drifting and triggering of automatic retraining, right? So this whole feature here has a loop back feature that we call the continuous feedback loop, right? We all gain from each other. We all gain from understanding from our different, what's it called? From our different responsibilities, right? So these are just some of the tools that we'll be using, which is Git, DVC, Docker, MLflow, run.seed, requirements.txt. Yeah, so this is how we will be going about model versioning and reproducibility toolkits, right? Yeah. For major changes, that is an architecture change, right? We'll be committing to our code on GitHub. Minor changes, maybe new training data will be added on the same architecture, patching, right? Adjustments and fixings, right? Those are things that we'll be doing, right? So, at this point, I think we understand what we mean by our machine learning life cycle, or rather model life cycle, right? And it is when we talk about our ML ops and continuous integration and development for machine learning, we talk about how the automated factory line, right? For models, we talk about CI/CD, meaning that every tiny change is automatically tested and safely deployed, right? So from level 0 to level 2, level 0 meaning someone just running scripts, by hand, right? Which is, again, it's going to be hard work. Level 2, which is automated training problems, sort of pipelines, and then level 2, sorry, level 1 was automated training pipelines, and then level 2, fully automatic with safety gates everywhere. So our pipeline stages from code committing to data validation to model training to evaluation, registry promotion, canary rollouts, and then monitoring, right? So that is how we'll be working. No worries, I'll be sharing this with the rest of you on the group. So there's no need to panic. So how do we go about model governance? Lastly, before we finish on this part of the slide, we'll be doing more of the slide later. I want to say next week. We need to have one model governance equals the legal and ethical, honestly, adult supervision, right? It is model registering, right? It is inventorying all of our deployed models with the owners who are responsible for them and the versions that they have. It is looking at the approval workflows from peers to ethics, legal, production, right? What are we looking at in terms of sign-offs? We need to look at the model cause, the standardization documentations, right? The purpose that we're trying to fulfill with our models, the performance of our models, the limits, the limitations that we put on it, right? And what can it or what it cannot do, right? And then we focus on bias and fairness because this is a mandatory requirement, especially in data protection, right? We'll be using data. This data is not just anything; it's data from people, right? What are the fulfillments that we've made in terms of data protection, right? According to the European AI Act, right? A sunset policy. When do we retire a model? When it has already served us, or when we're trying to what's the word that I'm trying to look for? It has served us, and we are going to a newer version, right? When how do we retire the older version? And then having our incident response teams on who to call when something goes wrong, what to check, where to check, and how do we go back to the initial point where we were stable, what we call our baseline, right? How do we go back to it? So that's basically it, right? So I want to leave things here. I want to leave things here because now I want us to practice. Let's try and do the assignment that we were given last week right now. So those of us who are on the phone, please, 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 please follow. I'll be holding your hand throughout the process. Kindly watch this. It's going to be recorded. This training is going to be recorded, but try as hard as you can just to follow my very steps into doing what we're supposed to do. Okay? Check, check. Do I have everyone's attention? Thumbs up.
Yes, you do.
Amaka, you are doing fantastically.
I
Mr.
said
Ade.
check, check. This Amaka, we are going to fight.
Amaka, your PM is coming for you. Oh, your PM is coming for you. Oh my days, Mr. Ade, I don't know how you're going to figure out this conflict resolution, but you have to do something. You have
The
to do
points are
something.
the points are marked. So Amaka is just leading by 2 now.
Ah, ah,
One
ah,
million.
ah, ah. Shocking, shocking.
I will protest.
Okay. Let's pull up. Let me share the platform that we're supposed to be using. Let me pull up the platform that we're supposed to be using. For those of us on our computers, kindly look at the chat. Kindly look at the chat. Uh, that is where we're going to, that is our playground for today, for the next few minutes as we close out and do our assignment. Now, this assignment also, I think I also need to share something with you. Just a second. I think, yeah, let me hold on. Mm, Is it possible for me to drag and drop it? Let's see.
Mr.
Whoops,
Marvin, are
I've
you sharing your
replied.
screen?
Not yet, not yet. I'm sharing some things on the chat.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't forget. Let's see. Whoops, I've done something wrong. Sorry. Mr. Day, I see people are coming to you with fire. Fire.
I
Oh.
don't understand. I can't remember a golden point though.
Fire. That is now your responsibility. You see, now you have a response as a manager. Conflict resolution. Yeah, how do we collaborate with our team now? Okay. But I love how our class is passionate. Let me share my screen now and we will be ready to go. So, first things first, enlarge this, share your screen, and then we pull up this. So, please let me
Sorry,
know if
Mr.
all of
Marvin, can
us
I
are
ask a
here.
question?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to ask, is this same Google console in charge for getting APIs and our credentials if you probably want to link probably your YouTube to an
Yes.
automation?
It's the
Oh,
same one.
wow. All
Yeah.
right, so proceed. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thumbs up if you are seeing the same thing as I'm seeing. If you are on the front page of this. Okay. Amaka is ready. Jessica is ready. Mr. Ade is ready. Patricia, where are you? You are making noise, but where are you? Yeah. Where are you? Grace, Love Days, Caroline, where are you? Or maybe some of us are on the
Yeah,
phone.
here.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caroline, where are you? Grace, Love Days, points are being gotten. Jessica is already there. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Caroline.
I'm using my phone for the
Okay.
meeting, but I'm connected to
Okay,
my
no
computer.
problem.
So I was requesting if you could share the zip file on WhatsApp. I connect
Okay.
my phone and download it there because I can't log in again.
Okay. No, we understand. No worries. Let me see if I can share it. What's up? As we wait for Patricia to set up, um, let's see. Do I have the data that I'm looking for? Oh yeah, I can just forward it. I can forward it from here actually. Okay, are we ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Yeah, it's been shared. The thing has been shared. Thank you so much, Training Heights. It's been shared in the chat. So that'll be uh for your own tooling and playing with it. So first things first, we are working for a company. Let me set the scenario. We are setting up the scenario. A coffee company has called us and said, hey, Amaka Tech, we need to get insights on our data, right? Can you give business intelligence? We need a model to predict, one, how our sales are going to look like. Two, what are our popular, products. Three, what happens on Mondays, right? And can we curate something for, future days, right? When it's raining, when it's a hot day, when it's a cold day, right? Are these things that we can try and consider, or rather should consider when we're coming up with our menu, right? We usually experience uh, some food being left. We usually experience some things being left in terms of inventory, and we'd love to cut down on cost, on operation cost, and also on just some few things that us as this coffee shop are suffering from. So we're starting afresh from what Mr. Murphy was doing, right? Our great sir, our great CEO. So I want us to walk through this real world workflow. As a machine learning engineer, we're going to be working with raw data. We're going to be, this is where I got the information, first of all. Remember, there's a process to what we're doing. There's a process to what we're doing. This is what remember, first things first, we need to collect our information. We need to collect our information. And how do we do that? Where do we get our information? Right? Let's see, google.com. Where was it? Where was it? Data sets. Oh, yeah. So this is the data set that I've just shared on the chat box. That's the data set that we just shared, right? So it's a hey, wow, English data set that contains detailed records. The detailed records of coffee sales and vending machines. The vending machine is the work of a data set author who is committed to providing an open data set to the community, right? This is just an overview. We want to look at the analysis of purchasing patterns, sales trends, customer preferences, and related coffee products, right? So this is what we're working with. For those of us who don't know where we are, or for those of us who will be watching the recording, this is where I got the information that we're working on today, right? So from here, we go to our initial page. Now that we've downloaded our data, we have it already. We are now going to open BigQuery, right? We're now going to open BigQuery. We navigate to it's called in my days of web design, this choice of thing was called a hamburger menu. We go to a hamburger menu because the top, the bun, there's the whatever in the middle, and the other bun. So click on the hamburger menu and then navigate to BigQuery, right? We click on BigQuery. Yeah, we navigate to BigQuery. Now, don't pay attention to what I have here because this whatever's yours might be empty, yours might have a few things here there, but that shouldn't really disturb you or anything. So now that we have our data collected and now we're at BigQuery, what's the one thing that we said in Mr. Murphy's class last week, right? We said we need to understand our data type. And what is the problem? Remember, the coffee shop has said we just want to look at sales trends. We want to look at our profitable products. We want to look at purchasing trends. We want to look at those things. So what we're concerned with is we want to look at the time dimension when this sale happened, right? That means that is a column. Coffee name, yeah. What product was sold? Is it an espresso? Is it a lungo? Is it a ristretto? Is it a latte? Is it a cappuccino? Is it a mochaccino? Is it a chocachino? Is it flat white? Is it an affogato? Is it, an Americano? Is it, guys, I used to work for a coffee company, so if you feel like I'm saying a lot of things, this is it. Yeah. This is exactly it. So, what product was sold, right? So that is categorical data, right? Again, that is we are looking at lists. How much money was spent, right? How much was charged, and what is the revenue? What was the means by which was paid, which is cash type? Is it card or cash? right? What is it that we're trying to figure out? So that means our information is going to be presented in a tabular time series format, which means it is structured data. Guys, remember, again, we have to always go back to the basics. What type of information, what type of data are we working with? It is structured data. That means we will be using rows, columns, not images and or texts. Again, I repeat, we'll be using a structured format. It's a list. Remember, we've listed them out. We've not been told, oh yeah, there's this guy who usually comes. He wears a red shirt. Sometimes he has stilettos. Sometimes he has, moccasins. No, that is a descriptor. What we're looking at is the information that we have, right? It is in a structured format, which is rows and columns. And it has a meaningful time order, meaning that the sequence in the transaction, we need to figure out what happened in matters of prediction, right? So what is our prediction goal at Amaka Tech? We want to, one, look at the sales predictions. We want to give features, right? When we say features, our model is going to tell us Mondays are for espressos. But maybe Monday next week, since it's going to rain, it might need to have, we might need to have tea. Yeah. Day of the week, product, the trends, right? We need to predict how many units of coffee products that will sell, right? Because we are predicting a number, right? Not a category. We're not looking at what exactly or they prefer dark roast over French roast over Italian roast. No, we're looking at a regression problem. So key things that we're looking at is we want our tabular data. That means it's going to be stored in BigQuery. We want our time series, which means that's going to have features like lag values and rolling averages, right? We need to look at things like regression, right? So evaluating metrics, right, from MAEs, if I remember correctly, and RMSEs and R squareds. So those are things that just help us with error correction. Please, I know I'm saying big things. They're just supposed to help us with error correction. Never feel fear, never panic when you hear these things. These are just small things that we us at Amakatech can do. And then structured data, right? We are going to either use AutoML or BigQuery because it's what we already know. It's what we had done with Mr. Mofe. So first things first, we have gone to our console.cloud and we've navigated to BigQuery. Yeah. Who remembers what we did last time? Who remembers what we did last time? If you remember, that is a point to you. Who remembers what we did last time? Going once? Going twice? Mr. Day, Mr. Day is stealing your points. Okay, yeah, we're going to make a data set. So, yeah, so you navigate please ensure that you're in your project. Please ensure that you're in your project. That's where we're going to be working on these things. So mine is called AI Specialist Training Heights, and we're going to be making our data set. So we come here, right? We're going to click on again this dotted hamburger menu, and then we're going to create a data set. For most of you, you might find it here, right? It's going to be probably here, right? It's going to be probably there. So we're going to create our data set. So click on create data set. And it's going to give us this pop-up menu like, wow, okay, we are engineers, we are coders. So we're going to call my dataset Kahawa. Kahawa what? Kahawa what? Someone give me a name? Kahawa sales.
Kahawa sukari.
Factory.
No, I need us to have a short name for us to, because again, it's going to be intricate for us to reference this thing. So let's call it, for now, I will take Patricia's recommendation, of course, with a point. Thank you for recommending. And yeah, let's call it Kahawa sales for now. But please be assured that we're going to be using it later. Remember, there's another key thing that Mr. Mofe said last time. So just as a by the way, if I say yesterday, please, my mind is thinking about last Friday as this Friday. So, I mean, this does that past. So he said, ensure your data set is going to exist in the same region as your other Google services. So last time we chose Iowa, right? So click on Iowa, yeah, and we are going to leave it at that, right? We've created our data set. It's called Kawa sales, and we're going to create our data set. We're not going to try and change anything. Yeah, there's nothing that we need to change. We're going to leave other settings alone. So Kahawa sales and US Central 1, Iowa. That is it. Check, check.
Check.
Thank you, Amaka. Great data set.
Check, check.
Check, check.
Awesome. Awesome, everyone.
Yeah,
So
Jessica.
thank you, Mr. Ade. Okay, we have now gone to our data set. Our data set has been created, right? It has been created, right? You can see here, even if I navigate to data set, it's there on our tooling here. You can even go to Classic Explorer. Here you are, Kahawa Sales. So we'll click on Kahawa Sales. And who remembers what we did next? Yeah. Mr. Ade already stole your other points.
I think after this, we went to Vetes, if I'm not mistaken.
We want to do what? We want to test? Sorry, Jessica, just try again. I didn't quite catch you. Even for those of us on the phone, right? If you remember, please let us know. Oh, people are chatting on the oops. Guys, I'm not seeing the answers. I remember small. Nowadays, I will consider you if you add, you add value. This team is about adding value, right? What is our checks? Where is your handoff? We want your handoffs, Nowadays. Yeah, we want your handoffs. Jessica is about to log off. So sorry about that. But it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We shall divert your points. We shall mark your points before you go. Sorry. Okay. So next thing we need to do is create our table, right? Yeah, here we are. We're creating our table. So we're going to call our table. We're going to go to upload. Remember, we have it in our computer or in our phone. We're going to upload. You can also reference it on Drive. You can reference it on Google Cloud Storage. That is if you saved it there before. But if you need something to be fast, always just try and go and upload. But sometimes you'll have like really large data that you might need immediate access to. Always consider Google Cloud Storage or any other means here. So for now, upload it because it's already on my computer. I'm going to browse. And I'm going to use in the first one, I'm going to use index1.csv. Index1.csv. File format is CSV format. Let us not change this, guys. It has to be CSV. Do not change it, please. Ensure that it stays the same, right? It's going to exist in our work group, in our project, right? It's going to exist in our data sets called Kahawa Sales, unless if you have another data set, because I have another data set, right? Yeah, it's going to exist in our data set, but we have a data set called Kahawa Sales. Leave it at that. What are we going to call our table, right? Let's go with what Patricia said last time, Kahawa Sukari. Kahawa Sukari. For those of us who don't know what sukari means, it's sugar in Swahili, right? You can even call it kawa sugar, right? What is sugar in Yoruba or in Hausa or in Igbo? Whoever can tell me should tell me, whatever. Yeah.
Azúcar.
Then we're going to auto detect our schema. Who's that? Who's Hello, can you see me? Check, check.
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 Awesome.
Check,
So
check.
schema, right? We're going to go to schema, right? Because one, our data set already has those things. So it's just going to auto detect it. Then from there, we are going to create our table. Do not change anything, please. Wait. I almost misled you. Look at me. Ha, 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 ha. Header of rows to skip. We're going to add one. Go to advanced option. This drop down menu. Click on one. Add one on header rows to skip. Header rows to skip. Add one. Initially it's going to be 0, but add one. From there, create a table. Let's create a table. Okay, we have our table called Kahawa Sukari. So let's click on it. Yeah, go to table. Here it is, guys. Here it is. This is our table, right? We have our field name, we have our date. Remember, this is the time period that we need. We have a cash type, right? Did they use cash or card? Here you see card here, money, coffee name, which is the product, right? So we're doing greatly. We're doing great. So what I need us to do is is um is once we've created our table, right? We can try and do the same for index 2, but again, within the interest of time, I need us to be done with what we're doing right now. So we are going to go to our schema tab, right? This is the schema tab. So this is how it looks like, right? This is how it looks like, right? And this is going to show us how our table looks like. We can go to our preview tab. This is the table explorer. And then we can select fields. Then we can select them all, and then save. So you see, we have it, everything is counted there. This is our data. It doesn't make sense for now, but we can see we've sold 824 Americanos, lattes 182, Americano, cortado, cacao, espresso shots, whatever.
Right.
How
Sorry,
much money
Mr.
are we?
Marvin. Sorry to
Yes,
cut you
sir.
short. I just want to remind you that we should be wrapping up with the class because, our Muslim brothers and sisters would need to go and pray
Okay, okay,
soon.
okay,
So,
okay,
all right.
okay. No
Praise.
issue, no issue, no issue.
All right.
So now that we have our information here, we will be going to, again, our hamburger menu here, right? Just to do best practices. Remember, we spoke about best practices, we spoke about versioning, we spoke about having accountable data, right? So click on the hamburger menu. Then we are going to go to, what are we going to go to actually? Go to cloud storage. Click on cloud storage. It's going to load up. It's going to load, it's going to load, it's going to load. Then we're going to create a bucket, right? Let's create a bucket. Now, cloud storage, it's like Google's object storage. It's like your hard drive, right? It's going to store our raw data, our CSV file, right? So this is just some place where we can just come and say, we can say we want kahawa, 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 kahawa bucket. Let's call it kahawa bucket. Continue, right? Where is it going to exist? We want it to exist in the US multiple regions. We want it to you can continue with that. The standard is fine. You can continue on with this as well. Continue, everything is fine. So delete policy. We can create, enforce public access, confirm. So this is just going to be a place where we're going to store our data. So it's going to pull up our data, and then it's going to be easy for us to come here and then say, we want to upload some files, right? We just come and upload, and we say we want index 1 and index 2 for maybe our stuff. So it's going to show us what type of data it is, how big it's supposed to be. So you can see the size of our data, CSV file, when it was created, story class, last modified, public access, da 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 da. So that is just for our backing up practices, right? So going back to our work, I need us to navigate to Vertex AI. Let's go to our hamburger menu, Vertex AI, this guy here. Let's click on this guy, and it's going to bring us to their platform. So Vertex AI is supposed to, just as a reminder, it is Google Cloud's like unified machine learning platform. It does not store your data. Again, it does not store specifically, does not store your raw data. Instead, it manages references to our BigQuery, our bucket. Yeah, it references it. Like it knows where things are, right? It understands and prepares data for machine learning or training, right? You're going to be taken to a place like this. This is something that we can use, but let's just go to Vertex AI, not the studio, but the tool itself. You should be seeing this dashboard instead. You should be seeing this dashboard instead. Check, check.
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 Thank you, Amaka.
I'm
Awesome,
following
awesome,
up.
awesome. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done with last week's home. Yeah, we're almost done with our homework. Let's create our data set. Yeah, let's create our data set. Now, in our data set, I want us to click on create data set. As you've seen, this is what I've done. For those of you who've not seen what I've done, what I've just done, let me delete this. What have I done? Let's go to dashboard. Yeah, so you can just navigate to prepare data. You see here, data set, store, manage and training data, organize and store ML features. We can click on create a data set, and then we're going to call this Kahawa, or what are we going to call it? Kahawa data set. Oops. Kahawa. Wow, can I not spell Kahawa data set, right? Remember, what were we told in the first place? What were we told in the first place? They want this information. It is not an image, so it cannot be single label classification. It's nothing, it's not a classification algorithm. We want a tabular algorithm. We want either a regression or classification. Given that they want to know more about their sales, know more about their products, this is forecasting. They need to know more forecasting for future values. Remember, they wanted time series. For always remember, right? Our PM, our BA, Amaka, and Patricia, always remember what the main part of it, because Mr. Ade, Grace, Jessica, who else have I is in our team, right? All of us, we're going to be doing our own things. We're going to experiment on our own ways. It is up to you to give us direction. So let's go to forecasting. And click on forecasting. As you can see, it's going to recommend what we had initially, right? So we're going to create it. Let's go create our data set. When I create, it's going to take a few seconds, at least 30 seconds, depending on your network. It's taking a bit of time.
So Marvin, are you still there?
Yeah, there's just some issues with the network.
Can I advise something, Mr. Marvin?
Yes, sir.
I would advise, if possible, if you can do a video recording of like this particular session, like this particular phrase, so that
Of course.
they can you hear me clearly?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that the network will be better, and if you can do this particular video or these steps properly on probably 3 or 4 minutes recorded video that we can send to the student to make it easier for them to really understand the process better.
Okay, that's no issue. That's no issue.
All right.
All right.
That makes a lot
Anyway,
of sense.
guys,
Please, can I
um,
also suggest that you start it from the beginning? The video, when you want to do, you have to do the practical from the beginning
I'm
till the
sorry,
end,
Amaka. We are
so that you
sorry.
don't cut anybody short.
All right.
Thank you,
Oh.
sir.
That makes a lot
Thank
of sense.
you.
But
All right.
just thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed your class today. I'm gonna share everything else. Yeah, Lovelies, please feel free to have left.
So, based on points,
Yeah,
Amaka was able
that's what
to
we do.
get like 25 points, while
Wow.
Jessica got 22 points, just 3 points.
Oh my days. And then who else?
Where
And
Who
are
the
is
third
my points?
the third person is aware my point. Well, the third person is Patricia.
That no way. Oh, one Tom, please.
Don't worry, don't worry. We have next week. So next week we pull up our socks. Yeah. And I see Jessica is celebrating. I'm going to, you know what? Two people are going to get. Maybe there might be a third. Am I that nice? Mr. D, should I be that nice?
Being nice is not a bad thing.
Thank you, Ade. Thank you.
Okay, I'll decide over the weekend, but I know who I'm supposed to be rewarding next week, right? I need these numbers to be accounted for. So if you know your numbers, please tally your points, and then we shall meet next week, and Mr. Ade will continue from there. And then next week is when I will gift the top two in my class. Thank you, everyone, for your time,
All
and
right. Thank you very much.
hoping to see you guys again. I'll be sharing the video at least maybe later today or over the weekend. Then we can try and practice it. Thank you.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Mr. Marvin. Please let us use this opportunity to appreciate Mr. Marvin for our wonderful session today. Very interactive, very funny, lovely, and insightful at the same time. All in one combo. It's really the full package.
Mr.
So,
Ade, yes,
yeah,
yes.
you
Advertise me
see.
like that. I am the full package.
So I really appreciate everyone for staying with us till the very end. And I would like us to make sure that please that you've filled in the attendance form. If you haven't filled the attendance form, I'll be sending it to the chat box right now, and I've sent it to the chat box. So please kindly do that. And the recorded video of this session will be shared on the group over the weekend, and the material will also be shared, and also an assignment. So basically, I want to thank every one of you for turning up for class today, and I'm sure that we all got a lot of things out of this class. Because for me, today is the first time I've been actually getting data from different people's JIT repository. Oh, sorry, my God, I can't even pronounce the word properly. But I've been getting a lot of data from different people's companies on GitHub to build my own AI agents. But today is actually the first time I'm actually understanding how to create my own directory. So like this is actually a big deal for me, and I know for most of what it is. So I'll see you all in the next session. I hope we are all there. Please don't miss any of this session for anything, because this is the step to make your future exactly how you want it to be. And I want to also position ourselves as AI is not going to take anybody's job. It's the people creating AIs that will take people's job. So I want us to position ourselves at the forefront of the future and make sure that we are part of the leading and the innovators and the force changing the future. So thank you again from Transformation College Business and Technology. We say thank you to everybody for coming to this session today, and we'll see you again next week. And please don't forget to follow us on our YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X, and also Facebook. And I remain your humble host for AI Automation Specialist, Mr. Adedamola Boshe. Until next week, Friday. Oh, next week, Friday, I think that's going to be Easter Friday or so. So hopefully, we would not be having a class on Easter. And my apologies to all our Muslim brothers and sisters that were not present for last week's class. The class was not supposed to hold. There was a slight misunderstanding, like slight mistake. So I'm deeply sorry about that. So please and please, thank you very much for today's session and have a lovely one. Au revoir, everybody.
Goodbye.